Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching us. This is another episode of the SEDAT HR Digest, and I'm so glad to have you join us today. My name is Supernatural Intem, your host for today. Now, from wherever you're watching us, let us have that in the comments section, your name and where you're watching us from. Would want to read that out to our audience. Today is going to be another insightful session, and we'll be having a special guest with us who will be sharing with us on resilience versus burnout. We are drawing the line today, and you want to be a part of this conversation. You want to make sure that your colleagues are a part of this conversation. So share the link on your platforms and let's have everyone on board as our guest shares these insights with us. So we can also take in your questions and then have them answered. Once again, this episode and SEDAT HR Digest is always brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited, your trusted HR partner. If your organization is looking out for support in terms of recruitment and talent acquisition, training and development, payroll, or staff outsourcing, compensation and salary benchmarking, even in terms of event planning, you can reach out to SEDAT Consult and we will support your team. We'll help you manage your team, right? We have a few upcoming trainings and also a very special event that we will be having. And I want to share those details with you to have you join us, right? We have an upcoming training in Kumasi. It's on HR analytics. The training is dubbed HR analytics for strategic decision making that's turning workforce data into business results. And this session holds on the 23rd of September, Wednesday, to Friday, the 25th of September. It's a 3 day training and it goes at a fee of 3,000 Ghana cedis, right? And this session holds for each of the days, the session holds at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure you sign up for this training, share this opportunity with your colleagues as well to have them participate in this impactful training. Now, SEDAT is also holding a career readiness program. Now, this program is to bridge the gap between education and employment. This is a very critical early graduates to join, right? It's the from classroom to career, and you want to opportunity with recent graduates to have this chance to be on board. The session starts on the 5th of September. It's a 6 week program. It holds every Saturday. All right, and the deadline for registration is on the 31st. That's just 31st August, right? And it goes at a fee of 250 Ghana cedis, just 250 Ghana cedis, and we help you bridge the gap from education to employment. All right. Finally, we have an upcoming special event. This is actually the first of its kind. You've been hearing that this one has a special touch on it. It's the SEDAT Business and HR Summit. It's holding on 29th of October, Thursday, 29th of October at the Michelin Hotel, Kumasi. The session starts at 8 a.m. prompt. This participation, which is of course the first of its kind, will be focusing on building sustainable and competitive businesses through people, innovation, and leadership. This is a room that you want to make sure you are in. So make sure you begin to register. The early bird tickets are almost out. So you want to be fast with your registration. For in person, it's 700 Ghana cedis. And for virtual option, it's 550 Ghana cedis. Please make sure you register now. All right, so we'll be going right into today's conversation. As I mentioned earlier, it's on resilience versus burnout. And today is the day we are drawing the line. And I want to make sure that you're not the only one benefiting from this. your colleagues are also a part of this. So make sure you share the link on your platforms. Let's have everyone join us so that this can be an interactive conversation. We can have your questions answered, right? I'll be having our speaker for today join us, and he's by the name Mr. Kofi Dako. Now, Mr. Kofi Dako is a dedicated and proactive professional with experience across facility management, procurement and supply chain, marketing, and health and safety. He currently serves as a committee member of the International Facility Management Association, IFMA Ghana chapter, and brings a multidisciplinary perspective to workplace effectiveness, organizational well-being, and professional practice. And today he will bring his wealth of experience and practical understanding of the workplace and lead us through today's conversation on resilience versus burnout during the line. Nice to have you here, Mr. Kofidako.
Hey, great to see you today. I'm
Yeah,
so excited to be part of this.
right. I am excited as well, and I believe a lot of people are also excited about today's conversation.
I'm sure.
Right. Let me just check in. Once again, if you are watching us, this is SEDAT HR Digest brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited. And today we're having a conversation on resilience versus burnout. We are drawing the line here. Make sure you put in the comments area where you're watching us from, your name and where you're watching us from. We'll be glad to get to know you. Right. Mr. Kofi Darko, over to you.
Hey, thank you so much. And thank you to SEDAT Consults for this great opportunity to help us to digest on this matter that is really resilient versus burnout. Before I zip straight into my presentation that I have prepared for you, I just want to impress upon our mind, to bring our mind home, to see some of the numerous things that happens on an everyday life, and then how we can connect it to today's topic. I think about few days ago, I don't know whether some of you heard in the news about a lady who has won a scholarship, and then I think he has won a scholarship to study in China. And so she went through all the formalities, and then as she got to the Chinese airport, even prior to her departure, she was complaining that she's having this severe headache and what have you. So as soon as she got to the airport, she was received by the school, and as she was received by school, she was handed a bouquet of flower, and then within some few minutes, she passed out. She collapsed, and then that was just the end of it. She got to China all right, but she couldn't set her foot in the classroom. I'm sure before then, before everything happened, there were a lot of things that was going through her mind, but perhaps maybe due to the fact that maybe she thought she would be able to make it, she felt so strong. And for that matter, she didn't pay attention to some of these basic things when it comes to health. And so she just passed out just like that. And I'm sure for many of us, we may have been in that side before. Ours may not be like passing out per se, but maybe we have experienced some of these things, burnout as a result of excessive pressure and what have you. Now, today's uh, lesson or topic that we are to discuss has a lot to do with some of these things that happens as we go through our daily lives. And so when I was given this subject to research on and then come and help us to get more understanding, I look at all corners and then seek out information from people who have been there before. And I did that by going through books and what have you, so that at the end of the day, we'll have a better understanding of what it means to be resilient and what some of the things that causes us to experience this burnout. Now, my slide, I have prepared some few slides for us to follow through so that in the course of my show, you'll be able to understand some basic thing. Before then, I would just want us to look at the presentation outline. What are some of the things that we'll learn at the end of the day? Okay, when you go to the introduction, we are made to we'll look at a basic introduction, we look at certain definitions, what certain authorities have spoken about when it comes to workplace, burnout, resilient, and what have you. We'll also look at signs that's of a healthy resilience. We look at signs of approaching burnout, the trap of toxic resilience, common causes of burnout at the workplace, organizational responsibility versus individual responsibility. Where do you also draw the line? Where can we draw the line? We look at some strategies that can help us to build a true resilient. Because tell you what, as far as we are concerned, when it's about 5 a.m. or 4 a.m., you go to the lorry station, a lot of people are already queuing to get a car to their next destination of work. And so there is that pressure that comes. Now, to begin with, I just want us to look at a specific definition from World Health Organization as well as the American Association of Psychology. Now, they help us to understand about uh, specific things that we need to know. Now, from them, they made us to understand that resilience is the ability to bounce back after difficult uh, events. Okay, and then it went further to help us to understand that, but in many situations, we are no longer bouncing back. We move forward, exhausted, without ever truly recovering. Okay. Now, World Health Organization help us to understand that burnout is a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been managed. Burnout affects work both mentally and physically and can lead to increased accident and injury. And if you ask me, take a trip down some of these factories in this country, and you realize or you get this information from these health and safety officers, and they will tell you the number of injuries and accidents that they have recorded as a result of what? Burn out in most of our workplaces. Now, as individual or as an organization, there are specific things that we need to do, okay, that can help us to stay on track. But it's better for us to understand ourselves, okay, to know some key symptoms of some of these things that happens in our lives as corporate workers or as students or wherever that we find ourselves. Now, there are some key symptoms that we need to come to terms with when we experience some of these things. One has to do with chronic fatigue and low energy, cynicism or detachment from work, reduced professional performance, and then burnout happens when stress continues without relief or recovery. Now, as you can see from the slide, on the other side, there's an image that I intentionally put there, and that is a representation of the dashboard. Every car, every vehicle has got a dashboard. Even the airplane has got a dashboard, and it indicates to the driver or to the pilot as to whether the vehicle is responding or the car is moving. Or with a GPS, the driver can look at the dashboard and determine how the car is. So you'll be able to understand whether your fuel is going down, whether your battery, whether your light has an issue, if the brake has an issue. You should be able to see all of them on the dashboard. Okay. So likewise, as we find ourselves in the corporate world, it's important for us to understand that forget about all these things. It's part of us. Okay. We realize that something is going down. Our energy is going down. There is that detachment from what do you call it? From co-workers. There's that detachment from work. As soon as there's an assignment given to you, you come up with a lot of excuses. And these excuses put the organization at a level where performance become very, very low. And so we need not to forget about these things. It is there. These are some of the key symptoms that when it starts showing up, we should know that definitely we are getting there. Now, we are looking at another side of it, that is the sign of a healthy, resilient. And for me, I look at it in two forms. We are looking at the mindset point of view, and then we are looking at the behavioral point of view. In our mind, we always say that, oh, I can figure this out without time and support. Oh, I can do it. I can really, really do it. Now, the behavioral aspect, what do we need to do? We need to set out clear work boundaries, a lot of boundaries that we need to set. And often than not, you are employed newly in an organization and you want to be the master of all. What I mean, master of all, is that at every work you want to do it. As far as I'm concerned, you need to set the boundaries. When you are employed, there's what they call job description. Okay, it's part of your package that whatever job role that you have been hired for, they add this job description. On a number of occasions, they may assign you to do specific things that at the end of the day, it's also part of your work. But I'm sure in most organizations, they give you a prior notice to know that this work, you will be part of it and you are supposed to help us. Now, one other thing when it comes to the behavioral point of signs of healthy resilience is asking for the help when stuck. We all get stuck at a certain point. Okay, we get stuck at a certain point. We don't know everything. Sometimes a task will be given to you, a project will be given to you to work on, an individual project, and you get stuck. You don't know what to do. You ask for help. You ask for help from other team members because I'm sure there are certain projects that people have worked on it before. And so you don't just accumulate everything and then you come back and then you become so exhausted. We need to ask for help. And when we do that, what happens to us? There is that sustainable performance and inner peace. Okay. When we're able to set clear work boundaries and also asking for the help when you are stuck. Sometimes you don't have to get stuck before you ask for help. You can even ask for help even before you start. And in that way, it gives you that flexibility to go ahead with your duty. Now, there are specific signs that show that indeed we are approaching a burnout. There are specific signs, and I want us to pay particular attention to this area. Now, there's that mindset that said, no matter what I do, it is never enough. These are things that you hear people saying most often than not. Okay. And then the behavioral aspect has to do with working long hours with dropping results. People sometimes will be doing 12, 9 hours, 10 hours, but the result is dropping. There is nothing that is showing in the results. So we need to understand all these things. Uh, Dreading the start of the day. Sometimes, even before we start the work, we've already lost a lot of energy. Okay, the energy that we have to put in is already gone because already we are burnout. Okay, irritability with co-workers and clients. You always get irritated by the smallest thing that is being said with your co-workers and even clients. I'm sure if you agree with me, those of us who have worked in customer service before, we may find ourselves in this line where we will have clients, troublesome clients, who ask questions that are not necessary, who complain about things that may not have been complained of. But yes, the organizations have asked us to work with these people because at the end of the day, they are the one giving us uh, the money that we are to for the organization. Now, what is the result of this? Going through all these things, what do we get from it? What is the end result? There is what we call emotional numbness and physical illness. Okay, physically, you people will see you doing all right, but inside you, you are what? You are burning out. You are sick. Okay, emotionally, you are being drained because of these things that we have allowed ourselves to get to us. Now, one other thing too is the trap of toxic resilience. The trap of toxic resilience. Now, I ask these two questions. Where do you stand against how you are trapped? Okay. Now, when you look at it from the definition point of view, sometimes we force ourselves to endure a broken, abusive, or toxic work environment. And if you ask me, I can tell you on authority, a lot of people, a lot of workers are in this situation. They are being forced to endure broken, abusive, or toxic work environment. Recently, during one of our conference that we had, that is the International Facility Management Association, I had opportunity to work to speak with a colleague who apparently had a job that somebody else also was interviewed for. Apparently, I got to know of the job, but I decided not to tender in my application. And so I was asking her as to why within 3 months she has to resign. And she was telling me about some of these things that she find herself in such an abusive and toxic work environment. And for that matter, her mental health was more important than the salary that they will pay her. And so she has to uh, resign. And so, as a matter of fact, we need to understand these things and then know that it is part of it. Okay, so what are the myths? The myth is saying that if I'm tough enough, I can survive anything here. The question is, for how long can we be tough? Toughness has its limits. Okay, toughness has its limit. And then the reality, resilient cannot fix a toxic system. And the warning is pretending everything is fine leads straight to a burnout. We pretend everything is fine. Oh, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. I think uh, I think some few months back there were this video that was circulating on social media about even presidents who stand on the podium and they are collapsing or they collapse. Because for some of them, I believe they pretend that, oh, they are strong. They will be able to go through it. They will go through it. They are tough. Even presidents, ministers have stood in front of pulpits and they have collapsed as a result of what? Burnout, which comes from excessive what? Excessive stress. For instance, one minister has to attend like 5 meetings within a day, or 6 or whatever meetings within a specific time. You be stressed. Okay, you have to pretend that, oh, for me, I'm strong, I'm tough, I have that toughness, tough body, tough mindset, what have you. Toughness in itself has got a limit that we need to be aware of. Now, on the other side, how you are trapped, and that is the trap of positive, toxic positivity. And it says that 67% of people report feeling pressure to seem positive. And then 80% of people say toxic positivity prevent sharing emotion. And then 4 times are greater risks of depression from emotion and suppression. So there we have the statistics with you. 67% of people report that feeling pressure to be seen positive, and then 85% of people say toxic positivity prevent sharing emotions. And these people, they are 4 times greater at risk of depression from emotion suppression, and that we need to consider your authentic feelings when facing what challenges. Because believe you me, whatever thing that we exhibit, it has a tendency to affect our work or to affect productivity. Imagine coming home already, you are tired, you are stressed out. At the end of the day, it's going to have an effect on the work. It is 9 o'clock, work has already commenced, and you are sleeping, you are gone. It means there's something wrong. It's either you didn't get enough rest, or perhaps something went wrong that you need to check. Okay. On the other side, common causes. What are the causes of some of these burnout at workplaces? One has to do with workload, too much work and too little time. Deadlines. They will tell you that we are getting this document within the next 2 hours or even the next 1 hour. And you realize that this document will probably take you a day or two to finish. Tight schedule, too much workload. One person, you are working with the accountant to get certain numbers right. At the same time, HR gives you a letter to also do another work project, and then the procurement side also come, and then they also load another work on you, and then health and safety department also come and then give you another work to do. And so you ask yourself, where do you stand? How are you going to jungle between this workload? So we need to understand that one of the common causes is excessive workload on us. One has to be control. There's lack of say in your daily tasks. You don't have a say. Okay, you work in that authoritative environment. Whatever the manager says is final. Whatever the bosses say is final. It is important for us to understand that these things has a way of burning us down even before we notice. And there is that poor reward system, poor pay or lack of recognition. Okay, people might be compensated for the work done, but sometimes you realize that you do too much work with little pay, and people are doing little work, too much pay. And so the person that is doing more work sees the person who is doing little work is getting more paid. There's that concern there, okay, on that side. So there should be that balance, okay. Now, community, you isolate or conflict with team members. You always isolate yourself, okay. As a team member, whatever the members are doing, you need to be part of it. You don't need to isolate yourself. In our local language, you say ankunam. When you get to the workplace, it's a teamwork, okay? So whatever input that you have, it is needed to make the work go on. So we need to understand all these things. And then we are looking at how resilient protect us. Now, I put it in 3 ways. I look at the buffer, serve as a buffer, adaptability, and growth. Now, it acts as a shield against temporary setback. Adaptability, it helps you to pivot when project goals change suddenly. Sometimes we all need that buffer. In the supply chain, in the procurement, we have buffer stock. Now, it's a stock that you keep because you know that probably in the next 2-3 months, there will be a shortage. And for that matter, we have pile of stock there that at any time we can tap into and then bring it. Likewise, as corporate workers, as organization, we have that buffer. We have that resilient buffer that we can always tap to that will serve as a shield against what temporal setback. Okay, there's the other side that has to do with adaptability, which helps you to pivot when project goals change suddenly. in many organizations, they will tell you that, okay, we are no longer interested in this project. Let's get to this project again, or let's get to this new project. That is what we want to work on. But already you found out that you have spent all your time in that previous project, but all of a sudden the management is telling you that please cancel that project and let's work on this new one. It's very important that we understand this, that we become so adaptable and resilient. On the other side, will help us to adapt so that when sudden change come, will not be found wanting. The other one has to do with growth, where it turns difficult mistake into a valuable lesson. We make mistakes, okay? There are a lot of mistakes that we make all the time, but we need to understand that even as we anticipate growth, it is important that we become resilient, become strong enough so that even when things change, we will be able to stand the test of time. On the other side, I took out these 10 ways to build resilient. One of the things is that first and foremost, you need to know yourself. Know yourself. Who are you? Okay, build goals. Your mental fitness, personal fitness, gratitude. You look at things in a perspective. You take actions. You adjust your attitude for crisis. There are some of us, as soon as there's crisis, no, we start throwing our hands in the air. This one there, it can never be. No, we need to adjust. In organization, crisis happens, but we need to know how to mitigate it, okay, so that it doesn't escalate. And we need to build that resilience, okay. I'm sure during COVID, a lot of companies collapsed, and I'm sure some of the reason why they had to collapse was the fact that uh, they were not able to adjust their attitude for crisis, or they weren't ready. Okay. And then you need to have that relationship. You build that strong relationship with your team members. Build that strong relationship with your team. And when you do that, you are on your way. Now, where does resilient end? Where resilient ends, burnout begins. When we begin to forget that we need to do this one, the previous one that I just shared with you, we need to do all these things. That is where burnout happens. Okay. Now, say resilience helps you to bounce back. Burnout happens when you have nothing left to bounce with. Okay. And most often than not, we ask ourselves certain basic questions. Sometimes we ask, can a weekend rest fix it? Can I just go for a weekend rest so that at the end of the day, I can just have that mind to relax and then think through that. There's also on the other side too. Do you still feel exhausted after a long vacation? At the end of the day, do we feel that uh, okay? It's something that we need to understand. Okay. Uh, on the other side too, we are looking at resilient in the right perspective. Now, what really matters in my life? You need to ask yourself this thing. Mindful awareness. What do I notice about my health and well-being? You need to look at all these things. You need to look at your professional care. Who is part of my health care team? You need to look at it from the community point of view. Okay, even the organizational point of view is also part. You need to look at all these areas. Now we look at it from organizational responsibility and the individual responsibility. Now the issue is companies often tell tired workers to become more resilient instead of fixing heavy workload. Sometimes they will tell you, if you think you are burning out or you are tired, man, you need to be more resilient. But you realize that being resilient has to do with fixing what certain things at the workplace. Okay, one of those things that we can do that is by creating a burnout resistant workplace environment. That is the individual strategy, supportive policies, and then organizational changes. Sometimes one person can work at one organization, one department for a very long time. The person becomes stressed out or burnout. It is important that you understand these things and then you see the way through. Resilient is personal, burnout prevention is organizational. Okay, if you look at it from the organizational point of view, the organizational need to help because as we go to work, they always pile us with a lot of work. Okay, now there is the need. Both the worker and the boss must take action. Okay, there's always that action that must be taken. Okay, let's find ourselves in a situation whereby the views of workers are heard so that we can come up with strategies that can help all of us. Now, creating a balanced workplace culture. Now, for leaders, we have to model health work habit and take real vacations. Okay, in Ghana here, it's only a handful of people who probably take this vacation thing very serious. That even in their email, they will tell you, I'm out of office on a vacation, I'll be coming, they'll put a date there. For some of us, because of where we find ourselves, the word vacation may not be in our dictionary. But as a matter of fact, we need to be able to inculcate this thing into our lives. Okay. Now, for teams, we need to encourage open talk about stress without judgment. We need to be open. Okay. In some organization, every month they have specific topic on health of employees' health, and they talk about this thing. It becomes an open forum where they talk about some of these things that at the end of the day, it helps them to progress. We are looking at policy. There should be policy. Now, not just policy, but policy that will help to reward smart work, not just long hours at the work, at the desk. Somebody can be at the desk for 12 hours, but the results is not showing. Okay, we need to reward smart work, not just long hours. And so exceptional company cultures might include appreciation, alignment, belongings, trust, and then leadership. Okay, we should entrust people to do the right thing. We should align. As an employee, you need to align with what policies, okay, programs and plans of the organization. There should be that reward system. We need to appreciate the little effort that people put in. Okay, people need to feel belong. They need to be. They need to feel that yes, they also belong. Okay, there was also show leadership. If you take lead, okay, let people know that at the end of the day, when there's an issue, we'll be able to resolve it. I will say that on the whole, resilient is a strength. Burnout is a warning sign, and that you are a human being, not a machine. Let me take it again. You are a human being, not a machine, and that you need to protect your energy to so you can work well tomorrow. Because if you are no more tomorrow, the organization will still go on. You shouldn't get that wrong. You shouldn't say that if I'm not around today, that organization can never run. Remember, before you came, somebody was there. The person has moved on, and then you are coming to replace. And as you are coming, you need to protect your energy today so that you can work tomorrow. So that at the end of the day, all of us will be happy and we go back home to meet with our family and then have that union that we've always been having. Uh, Thank you so much, and thank you for this great opportunity. I don't know if there's any question. Please, I'm open for the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Darko, for that presentation. Really packed, really insightful. If you are just joining us, when the session ends, you might want to go back to the beginning of the presentation and pick the insights that he has just shared. Right, I see Elizabeth from Ashoman. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us today. There's a question here. It says if an employee has already reached the point of burnout, can resilience alone bring them back, or does something fundamentally needs to change?
Wow, good. I think with the question that she has said, she has already reached burnout, right?
Yes.
She has already reached burnout, and so that is
Yeah.
where the help need to come in. Okay, I don't know
Right.
the organization that you work in, but in some certain organization, they have uh, those people who are in charge of this mental health, and then they put you through, counsel you, and help you to get back on track. Okay, you don't have to say I've reached that point of burnout, and for that matter, there is no help. Organization have got those things, and if you haven't, it is better you seek advice from somebody who has an expertise in that area, because at the end of the day, if you don't take care, it will reach the point where the burnout, I'm sorry for my language, become no life. Because the lady that I just shared her story with during my intro, I'm sure perhaps before she left Ghana to China for whatever she's going to do there, at a point she saw that there was something wrong with her. But what did she do? She said, "Oh, for me, I'm tough. I'll be able to go. After all, I'm in the plane, so nothing will happen. It's okay." But I'm sure if he has probably say pay attention to that headache that she was experiencing before the plane took off, I'm sure help would have come. I don't know if the person is okay.
Right. I'm sure she would be. If you want to send in a follow-up question, you can send that in and then we would respond to that. And also says for HR professionals and managers listening today, what are the three signs of burnout that they most commonly mistake for poor performance, disengagement, or lack of commitment?
Is it for me or is it for other professionals?
It's for you, sir.
Let me get a question. Say three what? Three.
Three common, so it says for professionals, for HR professionals and managers that are listening today, what are the three signs of burnout that they usually mistake? Did you get that? As poor
I don't know.
performance, disengagement, or
The
lack
net,
of
the network, the
commitment?
network, the network was kind of going off and on, so I couldn't hear you well. I don't know if you can take
Okay, am
that.
I,
If you can take that,
but can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. So if you can take it again, that'll be great.
Yes.
That'll be grateful.
Right. So it says that for HR professionals and managers that are listening today, what are three signs of burnout that they normally mistaken as poor performance, disengagement, or lack of commitment?
Okay. All right. So with what she is suggesting, disengagement, poor commitment, and then what is the other one?
Poor performance, disengagement, or lack of commitment.
Lack of commitment. Now, why will make what
Yeah.
will make somebody not to be committed to a particular cause or to organizational policies? I'm sure there might be something wrong somewhere. Okay, so if there is that disengagement, where there is that line, that disintegration has been left on. For instance, let me give you a typical example. An employee was uh, I don't want to use the word of dismiss, but uh, he was given a query, yes, a query of a particular thing that he did. And because of the query, he also took the query as an offense and then retaliate. And through that retaliation, the person gradually was disengaging himself from the team. Okay, the commitment that he used to show when he got the job has really come down, has really dropped, or let me has dropped. And so that is one of those reasons when these things happen. That is what, and then interest. Okay, interest. There is this project that we are going to work on because that project is not of interest to me. Well, why would I have to show a full commitment to it? I wouldn't. Okay. On the other side, that has to do with performance. Okay. Sometimes you are not performing. Managers draw our attention and say, "Oh, Mr. A, Madam A, in recent time, your performance has really been going down, and so you need to up your game." It has happened to some of us when where you find yourself. They will tell your performance is going down. For that matter, you need to up your game. So for that matter, they tell you to do something about it, and some of us will take offense. And sometimes too, the person that is being spoken to might take offense just because of how the manager carried the message to that person. Because you are not my friend, I carry the message in a way that I want you to get offended. No, the message doesn't have to get you offended. We are putting structures in place. And so the person receiving it and the person that is saying it or carrying the message, both ways have a lot to do. Because if you don't take care, you don't see it in the right way, it might put the person at that point. And so the performance that you are speaking about might not help, but rather it will become even worse. You go and perform worse. That we need to talk about. And then the other one has to do with what? Please help me out. Hello? Yes, Panacho, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yes, what is the last one? We talk about commitment, performance.
And disengagement.
Yes, disengagement. But I'm sure uh,
You've highlighted.
all of them, yes, I've highlighted on them. You disengage yourself because you are not more interested. What the boss said, he didn't speak well to you, and for that matter, you disengage yourself even from the team. And so when the team is going out on a project, they don't want to involve you because already per the attitude you put up or how you were able to take the message didn't go well for you. And it's something that we need to look at it carefully if we really want to
Right.
have a long way in the corporate world.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dako. Let me just highlight once again a few of our upcoming events and trainings, and then we would wrap up with today's session. I see Evelyn Jumbos. Evelyn Jumbos, I'm a Rajwa Jumbo from Adenta. Nice to have you join us, a Rajwa. I see Sophie Tando. Very insightful. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Sophie, for joining us, and I'm glad it was an insightful session for you. Right, so we have an upcoming training that's HR analytics for strategic decision making, turning workforce data into business results. That's holding on Wednesday, the 23rd of September to Friday, 25th September, at our Kumasi office at a fee of 3,000 Ghana cedis. On each day, the session holds at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure you sign up. The registration link is in the announcement area. You can click on that and then you sign up and ensure that you share this opportunity with your colleagues as well. And we have the SEDAT Business and HR Summit holding this year. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very special edition. It has a special touch of business to it. If you've normally heard of our conferences, it's mostly the HR conference, but this time around is a SEDAT Business and HR Summit. And it holds on Thursday, the 29th of October, 8 a.m. prompt at Michelin Hotel Kumasi. And the theme for this edition is building sustainable and competitive businesses through people, innovation, and leadership. You want to make sure that you are in this room. This is the first of its kind, and it's going to be a very impactful, insightful, engaging session. So make sure that you are there. And yes, SEDAT is looking at bridging the gap from education and employment. So we are holding a SEDAT work place readiness program. And this readiness program is a 6 week program. It holds every Saturday starting from January 2026, and $250 Ghana cedis. And you are being prepared for the world of work. Make sure you sign up, make sure you share with other colleagues and have them sign up for the session. Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Daku, for such an insightful session. One of the highlights was that toughness has its limits. Be tough all the way, but toughness in itself has its limits. He says resilience cannot fix a toxic system. Pretending everything is fine leads straight to burnout. When you need help, do go for help. And he says, you are a human being, not a machine. Protect your energy today so you can work Mr. Kofi Dako. At this point, I want for you to just share your last words, few words to the audience who are watching you today.
Okay. I think, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, let me share my personal experience with your audience. In the year 2025, I had already booked for a conference in Nigeria. That is the IFMA Global Conference. Everything has been done. Everything, meeting, conference, everything has been booked. And so I was supposed to leave Accra to Lagos on Sunday. But prior to that, Friday, let's say Friday morning, I was in Eastern region. I wanted to kind of do everything all by myself. They were calling me in Eastern region that, oh, there's this family thing, so I need to come. And so before then, on Thursday, I was feeling that I was sick. I was really feeling that kind of burnout, kind of people, stress from work and whatever. So I thought that, okay, you know what I would do? Let me go to the Eastern region and come back, come and relax Saturday, and then Sunday I'll just go to the Lagos for the conference. No, as soon as I got to Accra, severe malaria got hold of me. And do you know what? It took the intervention of my wife to come in and then salvage the situation. Because on that particular day, I went blackout. I couldn't see anything. I went blackout. I fainted. So when I opened my eyes, I was in the hospital. And this very person is going to Lagos on Sunday. And I fainted on Saturday. Now, after everything, I had to cancel everything. I have to cancel the Lagos trip and whatever, even the conference I'm supposed to go, I have to cancel it. Now, I learned such a great deal. I learned that, you know what, when we are stressed, when we are burnout, we should take a break. Okay? As for the organization will always be there. Don't ever feel that if I leave this job, that is going to be the end of my life. No, please.
Right.
That is not going to be the end of your life, unless perhaps you have not prepared yourself. Prepare yourself and please take a break, rejuvenate. Okay? Rejuvenate so that when you come in, you become a different person. Because like I
Right.
said in my last listing, you are not a machine. Okay? You are not a machine. You can break down at any point in time. And so if you are beginning your career and you feel that you want to take everything all by yourself, please just take it easy. Gradually we'll get there. And sometimes too, some of the stress or some of the burnout, we bring them to ourselves. That is the individual burnout. And for me, we can talk about that in probably in subsequent episode. That ways
Right.
that we bring this burnout to ourselves, not the organization, but the individual. Certain lifestyle
Individual.
choices that we do, we bring it to ourselves. By the time we get to the workplace, we're already burnout. So that is
Right.
the reason I can share with you.
Thank you. I really think we need to look at that perspective as well. It's a critical point of view. What we do as the individuals, even way before the workplace comes in, that
Yeah.
results to burnout. I see Sophie Tando. She says managers should encourage regular breaks and time off to allow employees to rest. And also, open communication should be encouraged, right? That's true.
Okay. You know what? Can I just share one quick one?
Yeah, sure,
I,
sir.
I went to Togo and Benin recent time, and that was why I got to know that for the French people, when they go on break, they go for break for like 3 good hours.
Are you serious?
Yes. So, for example, if you are in school, you go to school, you break, you come home, you come and eat, and then go back and then go and finish for like 2 hours, and then you come home.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 good hours. There's a popular restaurant in Lome. It is called Nopegali. We went there to have lunch, and then as I saw a lot of people, and I'm like, this I don't know move because they are workers who have come for lunch, and I'm like, I don't know going
Right.
back to. So I asked somebody, and the person was like, no, it's not yet time, and I'm like, it's not yet
Interesting.
time. What do you mean it's not yet time? He said they are to spend 3 hours for break. I'm like, really? And so with the
That's
break
really
that you are saying, with the break that you are saying, maybe some years ago, somebody need to file a bill, maybe inculcate into the Labor Act, because it is through the Labor Act that we can get these kind of things. Because we can't just say all of us should have a break and that is just because in Ghana here it is the Labor Act that regulates some of these things, right?
right.
In our labor law, it says it's 1 hour. Okay, intermittent break. If there's the need, you need to have that intermittency of break. Okay, so we
Yeah.
can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Uh, I'm getting some laughs from Evelyn and Sophie in the comments area.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
Evelyn says, thank you for sharing your experience and also speaking the truth. Work will always go on. And that's so true. When you highlighted that, the role you currently have, someone was there before you and the person has moved on. So don't
Yeah.
assume that without you, things will not move on, and you have to
No,
make
no, no,
sure,
no,
by
no,
all
no.
means, you have to know. That's so true. And Evelyn says, but we individuals must take care of ourselves, right? That's so true. Sophie, Sophie is asking if it will be applied, the 3 hours break for Ghana in years to
Well, tell you
come.
what. See,
Let's see what
supernatural.
happens.
I want those national service people there when they get opportunity from Accra to Lome is not far. Get to Lome, enter, and then just go and there are a lot of schools around. Just and from I think from Lome to Cotonou, I think it's about 3 hours or so. I mean, the real Cotonou is about 3 hours. So when they go there, they should go and make the investigation and find out. Go to their restaurant during 12 midday. You see the number of people that are there. They'll spend like 2 hours there. And I'm like,
That's
are they not going
serious.
back to work? Yeah. So that is for the French people.
I'm
But
imagining the confusion for you that day.
yeah, because we came as a group and I was like, we wanted a place to sit. And somebody was telling me that they are workers who are on break. And I'm like, by this time on break, somewhere around 1:30 getting to 2 on break, because lunchtime is usually from 12 to 1, then you are done,
One. Yeah,
approximately. But for them, they were still there. And I'm like, I asked the question, that's their system.
that's serious. That's really serious.
Yeah.
Even if you said 2 hours, that would have been extremely serious. But 3 good hours,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? It's been an insightful conversation with you. Thank you so much for making the time to be here and
Thank you.
sharing insights with our audience. All right, so
Sure.
all too
Thank you so
soon
much.
we've come to the
All
end of
right.
today's session. If you are joining us, this is a SEDAT HR Digest, and today we just had a conversation on resilience versus burnout. We just drew the line. If you are just joining us, you want to make sure that once the session ends, you go back to the beginning and you follow through. Right, thank you for joining us, and this session holds every Sunday at 4 p.m. We want to see you in our next episode. Make sure you share the link to today's episode on your various platforms to have others pick the insights that have been shared today. Right. Thank you once again for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Kofi Dako. At this
Thank
point, I'll
you.
say goodbye to everyone. Have a fruitful and productive week. Make sure that you take care of yourself throughout this week.
Bye bye.